Good morning, YouTube. What is going on? You're on the lifeboat. This is Captain Calhoun speaking. Just getting myself sorted here, a little bit late today. Welcome in. Glad you're here. Just making sure my settings are all good. You know how I do. What is going on, folks? Welcome in. It's Tuesday. It's going to be a good one. Scooby Lee, Roberta, Plant Freak. Missed you, Plant Freak. I hope this message finds you well. I hope your move went smooth. I know that was probably a while ago, but still thinking about it. Ben Bacon Bits wants a unicorn keyboard. If you find one, let me know where you got it. Can't think of a better name. Shannon Smith, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Body Illusion, hello, hello. Tina Marie, Izzy E, of course. Always a pleasure. Dale Cox, good sir. Jimena, hello, hello. Nicola E. What is going on, guys? Sandy Wandy. There's a lot of chat to go through. Charlie Mullins. Miss Sunrise Dawn, I live for now. TKK. Hell yeah, guys. Good morning. I overslept. I woke up at 4 a.m. sharp again, needing water, feeling quite thirsty. And then I tried to go back to bed for an hour and it turned into 3. But here we are. Here we are. Things happen. And we're still going to get it. I'd like to talk to you about cravings today, specifically the phenomenon of craving. Phenomenon. Fancy Nancy. Oh, good morning. Roberta says, nice quote, addiction, giving up everything for one thing. Sobriety, giving up one thing for everything. Wow. Is there like a pin function? That's really good. I like that a lot. What's happening with this mouse? I bet you I can pin that. I'm going to pin it. Or I'm not going to pin it because I'm not ready to pin it. What does it mean when I pin? Oh, it puts it at the top. That's pretty cool. I like that. This morning wrote a little thing. I did not include my full fan fiction, but really wanted to write, says Scooby Lee. I enjoy writing in the morning. It gets my brain moving in the way that I want it to. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The pizza rolls and everything. How is this morning finding everyone? I am feeling great. After that extra sleep that I got, I definitely woke up feeling late, but amazing. I felt really energized and like ready for action, but definitely felt late. Tried to tell myself, hey man, these things happen. It's okay. Because they do. At that point, it's too late to go back and change it. I'm already late. Might as well accept it, move forward properly, right? You didn't know there was triple meat pizza rolls? Dude, those are the best pizza rolls. All right, the phenomenon of craving. Let's just go ahead and take all this out. Thank you for your patience. My notes are being edited as we speak. So this is a controversial subject. The Swiss Vapor, good morning. Plant Freak says, I needed this topic this morning. He knows I'm sober, but sent a small baggie of Pat and all the glass devices I had. Grinders and everything. Guess what I did? Ran them all to the garbage. Good for you. I'm proud of you. How inconsiderate of this person. That wasn't easy, but so happy I did. I'm glad you did as well, Plant Freak. It's moments like that. Those are the curveballs that I'm talking about that life likes to throw. Stuff like that's bound to happen. You know what I mean? When we prepare for it. And it seems like you were well prepared, Plant Freak. Good job. Really proud of you. Good morning, Mr. Matrix Rabbit. What's going on? Good to see you. Aspire to inspire. Burp, burp, burp. All right. Yeah, this is a controversial subject. What is the phenomenon of craving? Well, it's an intense, often overwhelming desire for something. And the secret is it only takes 8 minutes to distract your mind from whatever it was obsessing over. And this isn't the whole of it, but it is a big piece, right? So if I'm craving if I like really, really am wanting to have a drink right now, or like maybe I had a really rough day with the missus and I just want to eat tubs of ice cream. That's something that happens to me. And it's just in my head. It's like this idea that's just stuck in there and it's nagging at me. It's an obsession. It's a craving, right? So we're going to talk about distraction techniques first. If you can distract your mind for 8 minutes, you will experience a difference in that obsession. That obsession might just flee. If you can occupy your mind with something other than the obsession for 8 minutes. For example, call your dad. That's what I do. I call my dad. Have a conversation with someone for 8 minutes about something that's not this. Anything really. You could even start talking about this and then get excited about something else. The point is changing the subject for 8 minutes. Your brain, something happens in there, and it'll change the station, like a TV. If you can stay somewhere else for 8 minutes in your head. Cognitive behavioral training is basically what we're talking about here. Also, having support groups like this to come to and talk about your cravings, talk about what's going on. Phoning a friend, I guess, it kind of falls into the same thing. That's a support group. Having support is a huge difference. It's a game changer. We can't do this thing alone. And I advise none of us to try doing this thing alone. It's pretty difficult even with help. You ever get like little eyelashes in your eye? Of course you do. Wonder if my brain is shorter. Did you drink a Alice in Wonderland potion, Mr. Bacon Bits? Shannon Smith says, I call my best friend even when I have panic attacks, and it changes my mind at least some. That's good. Yes, this is exactly what we're talking about. Changing your mind, calling a friend, phoning them, talking about whatever for the next 8 minutes, right? I do this with Taji a lot as well. Shout out to my big brother, Taj. Speaking of, I'm pretty excited about the November trip. Things are becoming more real. I was looking at plane tickets. I need to buy my tickets this month, but I invited my other friend, and her boyfriend flies for one of the airlines. So I was hoping that he could hook us up with some discounts. You know what I mean? So I'm waiting on word from my friend to see if that's going to happen before I buy. Because tickets to Hawaii are pretty expensive, but I'm so excited for this little family reunion of my fire friends. It's going to be interesting. I was talking to Taji, a little subject change. We'll come back to craving. I was talking to my buddy, and he said that this is going to be something that can recur every year. If we can come up with airfare, basically, there's always a place for us this time of year every year. He said he was trying to basically cultivate like a family reunion space for our little fire family. So I'm pretty excited about that. Like that, the thought of having like a home base in Hawaii, like it's not my home base, but I'm welcome to it, kind of thing. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. I can't wait to go out there and do my dance. Swiss Vape says I had some hard months behind me. I'm on medication again because of my autism. Getting better, gladly. Cravings so far none. Only craving for capsaicin and endorphins. Well, hey, it sounds like you're doing it right there, Swiss. I tell you what, I've been taking a break from the capsaicin because my stomach has just been having real issues, but I might do a little today. I'm thinking about it. It's sitting right here looking at me. Barbie MO4, good morning. Popped in for a few minutes. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad you're here. Misal Smokes, hello. Monk will be up in a bit. Well, I send Monk my best. I send both of y'all my best. Well, the phenomenon of craving. And if you're in a certain kind of position, if you're in real deep, medical assisted treatment might be the right thing for you, especially if we're talking about opiates or benzos, or alcohol for that matter. There's medical assisted treatment that can make your journey much, much easier. Take it from my dad. Suboxone saves. I'm forgetting the names of the other medical assisted treatment drugs right now, but there is a myriad of substances, of treatments, of paths forward, especially for those deeper, darker cravings. And I have to say, especially when it comes to the opiates, and the only reason I say that is because I have experience with my family, right, with this whole deal. But I don't think my dad could have gotten sober without the Suboxone. He says often that he did this thing for 30 plus years, thinking that he could not get sober. Thinking that he couldn't get through the withdrawals. Really, is the key there. And Suboxone changed that. Suboxone saved his friggin' life. So thank God for Suboxone. But that being said, medical assisted treatment is also an option here. When we're talking about craving, what kind of craving are we actually talking about, right? There's cravings and then there's cravings. There's, I don't know. Yeah, there are definitely levels to this thing. So just decide where you're at. If you can't visualize success from where you're sitting, you probably need a new method. You know what I mean? If, for example, my dad couldn't visualize success until he discovered Suboxone and the truth behind it, what it actually does, what it can do for him, right? And that opened the whole world to him. That opened his mind. That opened his view. That opened his options, his paths forward. Chocolate's great for a little endorphin rushes, kind of like the way that nicotine will make you feel better really fast. Chocolate's really good for that as well. I don't have any knowledge beyond that of chocolate, but I have heard some things. Fancy Nancy asks, can you stay on Suboxone for life? Yes. Yes, you can. In fact, I'm pretty sure my dad is a part of like a government program where they will pay for it for the rest of his life. I'm pretty sure that they're like, all right, we're going to take care of you. And I can't remember how that came about, but when he got out of prison, a bunch of beautiful things started happening, like one after the other, like a bunch of dominoes, like the universe, whatever you want to call it, must have responded to his change of heart. Because he got basically free Suboxone for life. The lifeboat's taken off, I don't know. He got his life back, and I'm pretty stoked and grateful for that. And it's largely due to this Suboxone. I tell you what. And I didn't know this. I didn't know this until we talked about it. Shelly Kelly, good morning. Cup of coffee. Speaking of, I love coffee so much. I thought about making tea today, and then I was like, I want coffee so bad. I'm going to have tea after coffee. If I still feel like tea after coffee, I'll have it, And I tell you what, we'll change the subject real quick one more time. When I do go to Hawaii, best believe I'm going to bring footage. I'll bring you guys with me, the whole nine. You know the deal. And I'll do better than I did last time. It was definitely a shakeup on my Salt Lake trip. I definitely didn't know what I was getting myself into as far as like being present for my trip, but also like being the captain of the lifeboat, right? Balancing both of those roles was difficult. And I will do better this time for sure. It happens. It happens to the best of us. Nicola E says and I assume this is a book, The Easy Way to Stop Smoking by Alan Carr. He talks about the little monster being the physical craving, the big monster is mental craving. Interesting. Yeah, the physical craving is basically just dependence, right? Your body is depending on these chemicals or whatever it is, even if it's food, the chemicals in the food. And chemical has like a connotation with it, but just for lack of a more descriptive description, the physical craving is just physical dependence, right? And I would have to agree that the bigger trouble, the bigger monster is definitely your mental craving, because that's more of, it's not a dependence, it's an obsession. The mental craving, something will get in your head and you don't know how to get it out. It's just in there, just kind of scratching at the walls. Maybe the walls of my brain are a chalkboard and it's just in there like, and I can't ignore it. And that's what it feels like at the very least. I definitely feel like the mental part is much, much more difficult. But on that note, that makes me think like, Does anyone else feel like they have 100% control of their brain? I mean, my brain drifts and wanders and thinks of things and, brings them before me. And I'm like, oh, where'd that come from sometimes? So, I mean, it makes sense that that is difficult. And they also say that 90% of your thoughts are subconscious. And if my thoughts, what I say, think, see, if my mindscape projects my reality, right? If like, how do I say that properly? I'm not saying this right. If my thoughts make up my world, my mindset, my perspective, there we go. That's the word I'm looking for. And 90% of my thoughts are subconscious. We only have control over 10% of our perspective, right? And I'm not saying that all of this is fact, but like if all of these things are true, I mean, that's what we do have control over, that 10% of our thoughts, right? It's quite important. If we're trying to change our mindset, if we're trying to change the way we view the world, what we actually do have control over, that small amount, is very, very important, because the 90%, the subconscious thoughts, are only going to experience change when the 10% that you do have control over experience change consistently, right? The subconscious is stemming from your conscious. So I know this is getting a little deep pretty quickly, but I felt inspired. This is something that I work with daily. This comes back to like positive affirmations and looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself you're great, you deserve things. We're constantly trying to little by little change the way that we feel and think and view the world, especially if you're coming off of, a deep, dark addiction, or, you're fresh in the recovery, right? You just came from a place where it's very hard to see the good, right? Your perspective is a certain way. So we are trying tooth and nail to change that perspective. So that's why I bring up the subconscious thoughts, the 10%, 90% model. That helps me a ton. Just having knowledge that like the thoughts that I am having consciously are super important, because they are the minority. So what I say and do becomes of the utmost important. If I'm feeling angry, I might not like vent about it. I mean, sometimes I need to, right? Sometimes I need to get that out of me. But sometimes I don't want to spread the negativity, for lack of a better way to say that. Sometimes I would just like to put good out instead of negative, right? Sometimes I would just like to create different ripples. And it helps. It helps a ton. It's a whole lot easier to have a positive mindset when I'm not expressing negativity all the time. All the time. Coping skills are going to become very important on this journey, if they have not already. Candy's Life says, I need coffee, BRB. Nicola E says, been getting better control of my thoughts lately. Can't remember when I heard or where I heard. I wonder what I'm going to think next. Gives the chatterbox a pause. That is very interesting. I wonder what I'm going to think next. I have that thought sometimes, and then the next thought comes. Mocked, good to see you. My brain also loves to run wild. A burrito is like totally not a cannoli, Ben. And I mean, I'm not an expert on cannolis or burritos, but I feel like a cannoli and a burrito are both very delicious, but very different. Barbie says, you're going to Hawaii? Wow, lucky you. Yeah, we were invited to be in charge of the opening ceremony for the regional burn on the Big Island in November. It's called Fall on Fire, I guess is what it's called. It'll be like November 8th through the 12th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty excited. It seems like my buddy Taj has been putting in some real work out there. which is great because our crew has been going through shifts and changes, and I'm like the newest to the party. I'm not the newest, but I'm definitely like the young blood, the new blood. Um, and I'm hanging out with like the OG squad, like the legendary Fire Muse Circus, and so like I don't feel not a part of. Like I definitely feel just a part of as everyone else, but it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I feel so grateful and lucky to be welcomed into such a group, especially so late in the game for them. They've been doing this for 25 years, you know? But Taj has been out there putting in the work for us with his friends and family on his mind and on his heart. I'm pretty stoked. Pretty stoked. Can't think about it enough. My hangry subconscious thinks of swamps a lot. That is quite a random thought. The swamps call to you, Mocked. Maybe there's something out there for you. Some sort of history in the past. Who knows? That is very curious, though, I have to say. I don't think well, that's not true. I have not spent a ton of time in a swamp, you know? Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. All right, this is when I switch back over to my notes. So, coping skills. Oh, look, I have physical dependence in here. Beyond physical dependence, significant psychological component, right? So this is the mental cravings. Influenced by stress, anxiety, depression, past experiences, right? The sum of our experiences is going to make this up. We're talking about the reward system of our brain, right? Which is the broken part. Usually your brain releases endorphins when something good happens because your brain would like to remind you and motivate you to do good things. And that's also why you have a negative body response when bad things happen. So your body and brain would like to remember what's good and what's bad and motivate you accordingly, right? And that's essentially the reward system of your brain. Your brain, releases chemicals depending on what the situation is. But what happens when that's broken? Well, we have to retrain it, right? That's why we talk about journaling. That's why we talk about exercise. That's why we talk about um, the 8-minute model, right? We would like to train our brain, the reward system of it specifically, to work properly again. All right, I'm going to manually flip the endorphin switch, even because what I was getting most of my endorphins from, I've taken away, whether it be overeating, drug addiction, alcohol, what have you. So whatever you can do to flip that endorphin switch naturally is going to be a big boon. And I highly recommend exercise. Highly, 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 highly recommend exercise. There are other ways to do this, right? If there's hobbies or something like that that really lights your fire, that really flips your switch, it's going to do the same thing. If you're really into Magic the Gathering, play some. You know what I mean? Get your endorphins, get your me time in. And your brain is going to start slowly remembering what it's like to do this without drugs, alcohol, overeating, whatever the case is, right? I'm going to have to start thinking of some other examples. Did I tell you guys that I have a Amazon wish list? It just popped into my head again. Kevin Hawthorne, good morning. Janet G, good to see you. Body Illusion. Craving a BLT. I do like BLTs. I bought a bunch of bacon right before my dental appointment. And there's a bunch of bacon still in my fridge, and I don't want it to go bad, but it's really hard to eat with my empty socket of mouth. Ooh, I might have to make something with it today. Interesting. I grew up on them and around them, so they are home. That makes sense why they call to you then. I also have not been exercising as much, Mena. Maybe that's it, says Amena. I need to start working out again. I left it a week ago, and I haven't been feeling like me. Yeah, it'll happen. It definitely does. I definitely don't feel 100% proper without exercising. I definitely need to get into it today. Body Illusion says I need more on my list. I definitely need to spend some time. It's hard to choose. Like I don't need a whole lot. I want everything, right? And I don't want to put a bunch of just silly stuff on there. So there will be more, I promise. I'm just working on it little by little. As I realize that I need things will get on there for sure. And then also I have it set to like when something's purchased, it'll remove it. I can take that off too. I don't know if I should. I don't know. Figuring it out slowly. Kevin says we had 11.1 inches of rain here in Lakeland, Florida from Hurricane Debbie. Well, I hope that this message finds you and your family well, Kevin. That's a lot. That is a lot of rain. Yeah, I hope everything's all right over there, man. Let's put some ones up for everyone experiencing hurricane stuff, hurricane weather. I got some family down in Texas as well. Jimena says, yes, because anxiety hit just as I stopped working out. Coincidence? Don't think so. I would have to agree with you. I would definitely have to agree with you. What is this? Okay. Got some endorphins just from being able to catch this boat. Nicola E. That's friggin' awesome. I love it. 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 You're a real natural at this and informative, Spanx. Well, thank you, Misal. I appreciate that. I definitely just need to believe in myself. You know what I mean? That's often the biggest obstacle between me and what I want. It's just a little belief, just a little surrender, just free fall into it, you know? Just find out. Mess around and find out. A lot bought already? Oh my, that's crazy. I wasn't sure what to expect. I should go check it out. I could put a ton of stuff on there. I really could. I just thought of a bunch of things that I need. And it's also, I don't know, yeah, let's stay, I'm gonna stay focused here. Let's talk about stuff that matters, right? Georgia and the Carolinas can get over 20 inches of rain. The storm is not going to clear there until sometime Thursday or Friday. Wow. Well, I'll keep that part of the country in my thoughts and prayers, man. That's a lot of rain. That can cause serious problems. I don't know how much rain we got the other day when I got stranded on the bus and there was like flooding in the streets and stuff, but I don't think it was like a ridiculous amount. Like it wasn't raining all day for multiple days. It just rained really, really hard for, a couple hours. And it was flooding the streets and stuff. So I have no idea what 20 inches is going to look like. I mean, I guess 20 inches is like really far up my leg. It's like mid thigh, I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's knee. I was told there would be no math anyways, so that's more than we get in a year, says Ben. I will trust your judgment. You've been here for a while. Izzy E says, if I'm already in an anxious state, working out will send me into a panic attack. A little yoga or dancing is my go-to for that reason. I also always listen to your body. This is a great, great point. And I'm glad that you brought this up because I did not. Sometimes like a full-blown workout's not what you need. Definitely ease into it, right? A little bit of dancing is sometimes what I need, or just like some yoga, some stretching sometimes is all that I need. Like if I'm really needing a good stretch, dude, hitting that stretch proper, it will send so many endorphins through my body. It's astounding. It's astounding. Giving your body what it needs is how we're going to train it, right? Because it still remembers how to release the endorphins. It might just need a little pull to start action like the lawnmower. You might just need to, prime it a little bit, remind it a few times. It'll get it. It'll get there. You'll get back to it. Kristen Melinda, welcome in. Drive safe. I hope you have a great day at work. Conversations with Christy. Made it to North Dakota. Heck yeah. From 100 degrees to 65 yesterday. I bet you're loving it. I mean, it might be a little bit of a shock, but I bet you in a few days that's going to feel real nice. Real nice, especially after 100. Glad you're here. Conversations with Christy. I am glad you're here. Let us know what's coming up. I can't wait to see what you're cooking up in that pot. Burr, burr, burr. Jennifer Folsom, hello, hello. Technically, I'm late, so we're all late. It's fine. It's fine. So the next thing I have written on my notes is moral psychology, spiritual awakening. I don't know what that's about, so I'm going to skip over it. It's probably really important. I'll have to come back to it tomorrow, I think. Oh, I know what this is about. This is a disease of the spirit, in my opinion. This addiction thing. The road to recovery is like the road to like getting to know yourself ultimately better. Like the road to recovery is akin to a spiritual awakening. It's like, oh, this is who I am, kind of thing. So that's what that was about. With our scientific and technological advancements in the world, right? So we have all this technology. We may be ill-equipped to understand problems of the spiritual nature, right? We're kind of focused in a different direction. So I think it's extra important that we come together and talk about these things, especially something as intangible as the spirit. It's not something you can taste, touch, feel, smell, right? Spirit, yeah, that thing inside you that makes you you, Shannon. It's like your personality, I think is a poor way to describe it, but accurate. I think it's a disease of the character. That's another way to say it. It's a sickness of your being. It's a weird way to say it, but I'm trying to put it in different terms. I see Goosebump in here. Goosebump 801, what is going on? Welcome in. Aspire to Inspire says 65 degrees, definitely my speed. I forget. Don't hate me. What's MD? I feel like an idiot. Maryland. Oh my. I knew that. Don't listen. I knew that. Bethany Saunders. Hello. Good morning. I don't know if I've ever said hello to you, but good to see you. Have a great day, Misa. I'll give Monk my best. Why does lying come up with addiction? Some people lie about things that don't even matter. Well, I think the not in my right mind statement comes to mind here. When you're in your addiction, you're not necessarily driving the boat. The addiction is, right? And driving your life. So if it feels threatened, it'll lie about stuff. And often these things don't matter. But the perspective of someone that's not in their right mind is like askew. It's a little off kilter. So it might seem to them that it super duper matters. And in fact, it probably does. That's probably why they're lying about it. But remember, we're not in our right mind when these things are going on. That's why they say that drugs will really like bring the devil out of somebody. When we're in our addictions, we're not in our right minds. We're not driving the ship properly. And what's important to us in that mind state is not what's actually important. It's what's important to the addiction to keep the ship running in that manner. Does that make sense? And often I think that in these circles, like the places that we go to engage in this kind of behavior, this drug behavior, addiction behavior, I think often they're not very very good places. I feel like the places that we go, there's lots of lying going on. There's lots of stealing and getting over on people going on. I think it's partly an environmental thing, but also it has a whole lot to do with not in my right mind kind of deal. If that makes sense. Blessed to Crochet, welcome in. Man, my tooth hurts. I guess it's more my jaw and my gums. I love working out in the pool, blessed to crochet, I have to say. My husband and I went to work out in the pool today. A win. I got in the pool with my dad the other day and he started moving all this water around. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm exercising. I thought it was pretty funny. Made fun of him a little bit, just a bit. My sister had a different name for her addicted mind. She called her Tiffany. That's interesting. How long does it take the brain to heal after becoming sober? It depends largely upon the substance that you were engaging with and what you were, excuse me, what the heck? It depends largely upon what you were addicted to, what you were engaging with. But the milestones that they give us in 12-step programs, like the 30, 60, 90 days, the year and a half, all those, the times that they give you chips for are the times that historically brains struggle. It's like kind of like a spiraling back kind of lesson that keeps coming back over and over the years. So it, depending on the substance, it can take quite a long time to fully heal. There is a whole lot that's going on behind the scenes that we don't realize when we're in our addiction, especially like, for example, my dad did this thing for like 30 years. I did this thing for like 15, almost 20 years. I mean, he's still healing. He's been sober for a friggin' long time. My mom's been sober for like 15 years. She's still healing in some ways. I think that there's probably an actual scientific number on this, but you can expect to be on this path for a long time. Obviously, the path is going to change, right? It'll change from a dirt road to a nice cobbled street, like it will get better. It's not like you're going to be suffering forever. But as far as like the damage that was done is far reaching. And it sucks to hear this, I know, and I wouldn't lie to you. It just is. It's gonna. There's a whole lot to heal from. Let's see what science says about the actual length. Inconclusive. Everything says different stuff. So that leads me to believe that, your brain is going to get better in stages and it might never stop getting better, right? It might just continue to get better. But getting better is a whole lot more difficult than like getting bad. You know what I mean? It's really, really easy to just drink alcohol or, do whatever to my brain. But to revert that is a much more complicated process. So I definitely would say you can expect to be working on this for a long, long time. And I know that sucks to hear, but it is what it is. And it's not going to look like it looks now forever. It's not going to look like it looks now for very long, I would wager, especially if you're working this thing, which is ideally what we should be doing. We should be giving it our everything. We don't want to sit and dwell in a bad place. We'd like to get to that good place as quick as possible, I imagine. So it's in your best interest to work it. I tell you what, it's in your best interest to bust the journal out, to do all these things that we're talking about, because the road is long, and we say this a lot. It's a marathon, not a race. Goosebump 801 says, I did 2 minutes of positive affirmations in the mirror this morning. Felt weird, but I did it. I tried to focus on positive statements I could fully believe. I love to hear that, Goosebump. It's become a fun thing for me. Like I'll get myself jazzed up. I'll look myself in the eyes and be like, you're bad, mother. You a bad mother. And just like, I'll have a great time with it. And it can become fun. And then you're in your joy immediately, right? You start your day in your joy. After that, you can start to see how far can I go into my day without losing my joy, right? And then when you do, Just redirect. Bring yourself back to your joy. Remember what it's like to be joyful. I'm telling you, this is a game changer, Goosebump. You're going to love it. This is a game changer. Dirty Mouse says sometimes you have to work on certain issues over and over again during your healing. I'm 15 years sober and still healing and feeling like I have more things to work on. Yep. That's crazy. You got 15 years, Dirty Mouse? Wow. It's a lot of time. 15 years sober, still healing and feeling like I have more things to work on. Yeah, life's a journey, right? You got a lot. There's a lot to, there's lots of possibilities. There's always more to work on. We're never going to reach a destination. We're going to be on a journey, you know? I mean, I shouldn't say that. We will reach plenty of destinations, but that's not the point. The point is the journey. That was such a great question, Fancy Nancy. Thank you for asking that. Not the simplest answer, but I mean, we get it, right? I think that's a great, great question. The healing really takes a lifetime, says Jennifer Folsom. Flick Fox, good to see you. If you feel weird doing affirmations in the mirror, put up inspiring quotes that get you pumped. Read them as you stretch it all out. I've just started doing this. Yes. I like to put sticky notes places that I'll see them. Sometimes I'll forget that they're there, and then when I notice them, it makes me smile. I'll put cute little messages on there for myself. Or affirmations. I'll put affirmations on there as well. Catalina, good to see you. I've heard one way to change your perception of yourself, lessen bad talk, bad self-talk, is to place a picture of yourself from when you were a little child on the mirror. How would you talk to your little self? Wow, that's a great idea. I have a bunch of pictures of me when I was little. Maybe I should put one up there. That's my ma. Look how happy I am. Man, I cannot keep my arm still. Holy crap. I have a job interview, says Jimena. Wish me luck. See you all later. Good luck. You've got this. Once you're in the chair, that's all it takes. You got yourself in the room. I think you're going to sell yourself great. I think they're going to love you. You're a great personality. Just be yourself. Be confident. But not afraid to be humble. Don't listen to me. You're great. You know what to do. I was super duper happy in that photo. I don't remember that day very, very well. I don't remember a lot of my younger experiences. You know, guys, I might have to cut this one early. My mouth is killing me. I don't want to, but it's for the best if it heals better. Isn't she Dirty Mouse? Thank you for saying that. She's the best. I love her. Shout out to my mama. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. I love you. I believe my next dentist appointment is the middle of this month. I'll have to double check. I'm on a texting list. I did not write this one down, so I really hope they text me. I'll have to call them and double check, but I'm pretty sure it's like maybe at the end of the month. Thank you, Nikolai. I need it. It started off really great, but it's starting to just turn out just like the other one did. It hurts just like the other one did. Obviously, it's the same thing. It's just in a different place. I don't know. A boy can dream, right? I was dreaming that it was going to be less painful, but man, it sucks. It really, really sucks. And I've been through this. I know the drill, right? I'm doing everything I can. Oh man, but it just hurts. It sucks. I will say I'm really good at keeping that blood clot in there. Not smoking cigarettes helps a ton, obviously, but usually dry socket's like my go-to. Like it's like, well, I guess I'm getting dry socket, but this time and last time, success. So far, so good. I don't want to jinx it, but I got some wood right here. Knock on it. I will tell my mom you guys said hi for sure. That'll make her laugh. That'll make her smile. Did I have work done that went wrong? Root canal? No, I had an extraction. I had a tooth over here in the back that had been worked on a long, long time ago. I can't remember what was done, but like it was like we did the first half of the work and I never came back. It was either like they had done a bone graft and then I was supposed to come back for it to be crowned, or it was something of that nature. But it ended up, because I never went back, it had been there for like years now. It ended up like a hollowed out bowl of ivory. I don't know what my teeth are made out of, but it ended up like a bowl. It would just catch food, and it was the most ridiculous thing to keep clean. I was constantly picking at it with a toothpick, and it started to hurt. So, anyways, obviously it's decaying, and it was starting to get into the tooth behind it that I really need to chew stuff. It's like one of my last molars. So I had it extracted. That was the long answer. I know you probably didn't need to know all that. Thanks for listening. Kind of gross, super painful. He was in there like wrenching on my jaw. So like the whole jaw hurts. I've been icing it daily. You come from a family of dentists. Wow. Are there dentists out there that still use nitrous, or is that just a thing of the past? I wish they would just put me under for stuff like that. Like I don't need to be awake, man. I mean, I guess my mouth needs to be open. I guess they could put a thing to keep my mouth open. That would probably make my jaw hurt worse. I don't know. It's just an uncomfortable experience, and I appreciate you and your family's service. It can't be easy being a dentist. They got everything out of there. That's for sure, Robin. Thank you for asking. So the next thing is, I'll show you a little bit. I don't think it's that gross, but this yellow one, this one, and this broken one, we're going to fix those 3 teeth on the next journey. And I believe how it's going to pan out is there's some fillings. I'll get like 3 fillings, and then that broken tooth in the back is probably just going to get, I might need to look at the plan. Now I'm questioning. I feel like the broken one's a crown. I don't really know though. My next appointment is for the top 3 on the right. And then the super yellow one has like broken. There's like the top portion there's only half of the tooth on the top. So I don't know. I'm really excited to get that fixed because it would be really hard for me to smile if that one got any uglier. It's already becoming I'm conscious of my smile. I don't like that. I miss having just a free smile, These days when I let my smile fly free, I'm literally surrendering how I feel about my teeth looking. I'm just like, well, they look how they look. I'm going to be happy right now. Enamel is what our teeth are made of. I thought enamel was just the outside coating. Yeah, dental work sucks. I mean, I'm grateful for my dentist, right? But it's just hard. It's hard to get through. If I go to a surgeon, they'll knock me out. That sounds pretty serious. Wow. It's heavy. I do have some topical anesthetics that I use here and there. It makes me drool. It also like does something to the tissue that like makes it hurt more later. At least in my experience. So I try not to use it a ton. I wish I could put something like antibiotics in there, or not antibiotics. What am I thinking of? Like Neosporin or something like that. I wish I could put like a healing cream in there, but it doesn't work like that. I don't think. Not in your mouth. Here's a little for your dental bill. Thank you very much, Jennifer. I appreciate you. Everything adds up, and it is definitely expensive. My grandpa reached out and said he would like to help me financially with all that stuff. And then I told him, well, I'm going in to get the extraction done and it's covered. I'll talk to them about these things that, we want to know about, and I'll get back with you and we'll talk about, how you want to help. And then when I got back with him, he was like, when you can't afford it anymore, I want to help. And I was like, okay, I think I can afford it all though. I think it's going to work out. I think I'm finally getting my financial stuff under wraps now that I'm not drinking and drugging, but I still appreciate him. I'm very grateful. It was kind of a letdown when he said that though. Now I'm incentivized to like not be able to handle it. I'm not really, but Bethany says, I'm craving this and that. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Well, I would remove myself from the situation. I would definitely put my mind on something else. Do something for 8 minutes. Phone a friend. Talk about something else for 8 minutes. Bust out your journal, maybe. Write about it, right? I'm craving this and that. And then, I don't know, stream of consciousness, whatever's coming to your head, write it down. I would do all of those things for sure. Yeah, I would in this order. I would choose either call someone or write it down, and then if you choose write it down, call someone after. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. It only takes 8 minutes to distract your brain. And also, the first thing that happens in my head, because these are things that I enjoy, right? Blow is my thing. I wouldn't justify doing one or the other because one is going to lead to the other. Especially when if you're thinking of them together, they're coming as a unit. You can't do whippets without the blow. And I'm not saying this is a forever thing. I just mean in this moment, like they're a unit in your head. You can't do either of them. And I mean, obviously, you can do whatever you want, right? But if I was in your shoes, I would lump them both together and start writing about it, and then I would call someone who supports me in my journey. In fact, if you're new here, you should get a 5. This boat is filled with people that have walked the same path, that are on the same path, that might be even newer than you. But everyone here is a resource, and everyone here is kind and loving. And if you don't have 5 people that you can talk to about this kind of stuff, I think it would be a really good thing for you to make some friends and find some people that you can talk with about this kind of stuff. Obviously, you can always come here and talk about it, but having the ability to phone a friend is invaluable. Having people that you can call when the chips are down is invaluable. It's one of the most important things. If you can't do this thing alone, Bethany. I hope that helped. That's what I have. Yeah, you can also stay with us until the craving is over, says Mocked. I think that's a great plan as well. I'm scrolling up and reading. The internet's a crazy thing. I tell you what. Nicola E says, let yourself feel proud you've worked it out rather than calling on him. Give him some love instead of a bill. You know what? I love that. Thank you, Nicola. That's the right way to think about it. Because that's how I give back. You know, I really owe a whole lot to my grandpa and my grandma. And that's the only way that I can repay them is by doing good works, doing good in my life. Olivia says it's easy to say find a friend, but how? Well, are you in need of a friend? That is a good question. Well, maybe we should do a making friends show. I've never really thought about how I make friends. It's definitely a learned skill, though. And I think moving around so much as a kid has made me unusually adept at it. I have had to make new friends and start over perpetually in my life. So this is something that I take for granted. I mean, the first, you always start with a little conversation, right? Like, hey there, what's going on? And that happens a whole lot here, especially in the beginning. Everyone says hello to each other in the chat, and then we start talking and chatting with our friends, right? So if you're new to the boat, I encourage you to participate in the chat, say hello to people around you, especially if you see someone talking about something you can relate with, talk about it, right? Jump in there. Ask questions, make statements. And eventually you're going to find people with similar interests, similar mindsets, or even just people saying things that you like. And those people can possibly be your friends. You know what I mean? Um, the way I choose friends is how they make me feel. It's a feeling thing. It's a gut thing. I don't necessarily need a bunch of friends. I would like quality friends. I would like people that really resonate with me and that I resonate with. Jennifer Folsom says, ask me, Olivia. Yeah, mocked. My grandparents were one of the only stable influences for sure. They were probably the most stable influence, I have to say. Mocked said, I can imagine that your grandparents were a stable influence on your life. Yes, I owe them almost everything, I feel like. I owe them so much. And it's not like a bill that I can pay back, right? I'm going to do good in my life. I'm going to do good things. Tina says, I'm at a point where I could be a solid part of someone's five. I also would love to connect with some local crew members, IRL. How do we connect? This is a great question. This is definitely something that I would like to do. I wonder how much of us are in the Arizona area. I know we've got at least a few of us. When I travel, I should make it a point of meeting up with crew members no matter where I go. I should have done this on the Utah trip. I had planned on it and it just didn't pan out. And that was my fault. But there's that moving forward, right? But also, I mean, if you find people that are near you, feel free to meet up, obviously, right? If you find friends on the boat that happen to be geographically located, man, I think that makes me happier than anything is seeing you guys hanging out together and stuff. Amanda Deer, what is going on? Hello, hello. Goosebump, are you located in Utah? What's with the 801, bud? That just occurred to me. I don't say that in like a condescending way. It's just like I look at your name. We conversate all the time. We're friends, and I just realized that that's the area code for where I used to live. Minneapolis. Okay, 801's a great number. It's a great number. Just had me wondering for a second. Shelly Kelly's in AZ. You know, it's funny. Flick Fox says, I want to come over to America and meet up with peeps. I want to come over to wherever you are and meet up with peeps. I want to travel the world. I think that sounds so great. Jennifer's in West Texas. Spire's in Maryland. Ben Baconbit's in the AZ, Detroit, Michigan, Minneapolis. We have representation from all over the world, I have to say. Oh, you grew up in SLC, so you get it. You know. We definitely have. This seems like a very American crew here today, but we've got Canada, we've got Africa, we've got a big Australian contingency. We've got some friends in Israel. We've got members everywhere. In fact, I haven't seen Aryeh in a little while. Been thinking about him a lot. I know he's a dad. But if anyone bumps into Aryeh, send him my best. I guess I can just pop on a Discord. I'll send him my best as well. But shout out to Aryeh. Thinking about you, buddy. Love you. You know, I had a moment of weakness or being self-critical yesterday. I was like, I'm like telling people online that I love them. Isn't that weird? And I was like, no, you're teaching and you're being an example, and this is how things should be. So don't feel bad about that. And that was like my little self-talk that I had yesterday. Aryeh was in chat last night. Word. I bet you this is a difficult time for him to be a part of this time here. All right, guys. I am going to go address my mouth pain. I want to come see this Swampshire you speak of, Mocked, one day. One day I'll be more traveled. All right, y'all. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It certainly makes a difference. I appreciate every one of you. Thanks to everyone that participated today. One's going up for anyone out there that needs them, especially people affected by the hurricane. Anyone out there that, is looking to build a 5, anyone out there that is having cravings, obsessions, you're not alone. And you can do this. You've got this. Stay the course. And yeah, much love to all of you. We'll see you again later.